players, welcome back to the Guitar in a Year, Beginner to Intermediate. I'm your instructor, Korey Hicks, and we are on week number 31. We're just about to embark on the most important part of our journey this year. We're going to begin mapping out the entire neck in all 12 major keys. Our major scales are the backbone of everything we do as musicians, and it is the number one thing that I see in intermediate players that they don't have together. This is the number one thing that I find in people who already play in bands, or maybe they've been playing for 20 years, that they don't have together. This is the number one reason why people don't get better, because they don't map out the entire neck in our basic major scales. So why major scales? What about the minors and all those modes I keep hearing about? They're all inside of the major scale. Your C major scale is going to give you all the modes of C major. As we learn how to play the entire C major scale throughout the neck, we're going to get access to every single tonal color that's available in the major scale. This includes Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, all of those modal names you've been hearing about. Because these patterns are movable throughout all 12 keys, once you learn these 7 patterns, you're going to know how to play all 12 keys, all 84 modes, all 588 patterns of the major scale and all of its modes on the guitar neck. Now, I know that sounds like a lot. Do not be intimidated. This is actually a very easy thing to get under your fingers, and once you start unlocking the neck in this way, the guitar is going to get so much more fun. Your enjoyment of practicing and learning songs is going to just go through the roof. So let's talk about a few things about the guitar when it comes to major scales. We're only learning one pattern today. For the next 7 weeks, we're going to learn one pattern per week. I'm going to show you how to practice that pattern, and then we're going to put them all together, and then you're going to get the whole C major scale throughout the entire neck. This is kind of like having your piano at home or your keyboard and having access to all the white keys. So let's take a look at the neck. We know the notes of C major are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now watch this. I can move to a different position and get the exact same sound. I'll do it again in a different position. This is why you've probably looked up songs on the internet and people have played them in different locations. Same exact lick in a bunch of different positions. So knowing the notes all over the neck and knowing all these positions allows us to play things that we couldn't otherwise do, such as painting with a thin paintbrush or a thicker one. The thicker strings obviously give a more hollow sound, so as we go up the neck with the exact same octave, we're going to be getting a thicker, more hollow sound on the fretboard. That scale pattern actually starts on the low E string. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So each note of the major scale is going to get a pattern that starts on it. So the next note of the C major scale is F. So I'm going to get a pattern that starts on F. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. The next note of the C major scale is G. So I'm going to get a pattern that starts on G. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Notice that we're getting higher up the neck and we're getting more of a range. The pattern that started on F collected all the notes from the 1st to the 5th fret. The pattern that started on G collected all the notes from the 3rd fret to the 7th fret. Now the pattern that starts on A, the 6th note of the C major scale, is going to collect all the notes that start from the 5th fret to the 8th fret. So let's count them out here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. We'll have one that starts on B, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. The one we're learning today is going to start on C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. The one that starts on D, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. And we're going to double the one that started on E an octave higher. So while that may seem like a lot, we're only going to be working with one pattern today. We're going to be starting off on the very first note of the C major scale on our low E string. Remember all that cycle 4 we're doing? C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, F sharp, B, E, A, D, and G? Well, those are the first notes of the 12 major scales. So this pattern is going to be movable to all these other locations. If I play this pattern starting on C, I'm going to get the C major scale starting in that location. If I take the exact same fingering and start it on A, I'm going to get the A major scale. So you can see how this is going to start opening up the neck for us. If I want to start on a G major scale, all I do is put my first finger there, and I'll be playing the pattern that we learned today. So let's start off with this very first pattern. You're going to see the diagram on the screen right now. As always, if you want access to the PDFs, the diagrams, all the downloadable content, the backing tracks, and the book that goes along with the course, head on over to my Patreon. All that information is in the description below. And while you're at it, go ahead and give us a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. That really helps the channel out. We're going to put our first finger on the 8th fret of the low E string. That's our note C. Next, we're going to use our middle finger on the 10th fret of the low E string to play the note D. Next, we're going to use our pinky on the low E string on the 12th fret. This is going to give us the note E. Okay? Now, for a lot of you, you might be thinking to yourself, why can't I just play first, ring, and pinky? Well, I'm going to be talking about that in a little bit, but it has to do with economy of motion, it has to do with the physiology of the guitar, it has to do with your ulnar nerve, and the way that our hand works. So just trust me at this point, we're going to play first, middle, pinky. Okay? So, and then we just kind of think to ourselves, that's the C note, the D note, and the E note. If we're thinking of intervals, that is the first note of the scale, the second note of the scale, the third note of the scale. Okay? Moving on to the next string, which is our A string, we're going to play the exact same fingering. We're going to be using the first finger on the 8th fret again. This is going to give us the note F. Then our middle finger is going to go to the note G, which is the 10th fret on the A string. And again, our pinky is going to go to the 12th fret, giving us the note A. So now we have C, D, E, F, G, A. So these are the first 6 notes of the major scale. For a lot of students, especially if this is new to you, I suggest just starting off with something like this. I'm just going to play up those 2 strings. Up and down. Make sure it's comfortable. Remember how things work. Remember we were talking about that 1, 2, 3, 4 way back? And I was talking about how the pinky should feel like home. If you make your first finger like home, it's going to be hard to stretch that pinky, but if you make the pinky feel like home, you can get back quite a bit further. The same concept is going to be taking place here. Keep that pinky straight with the 12th fret and kind of bend back to get to that C note. Now the hand can shift as you are playing through the scales, so don't worry about that. Okay, we're going to be using the exact same fingers on the next string. Only difference is we're going to be playing 9th fret, 10th fret, 12th fret. So our index finger, pointer finger, is going on the note B on the D string, and this is going to be on the 9th fret. Middle finger is going to play the 10th fret, which is the note C. Remember our octaves. So that's the note C, okay, played with our middle finger. And then our pinky is going to go to the 12th fret, and that's going to give us the note D. So now we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. We're going to use the exact same fingering for the G string. Our first finger on the 9th fret is going to give us the note E. Our middle finger on the 10th fret is going to give us the note F. Pinky on the 12th is going to give us the note G. So now we start back at the beginning. Notice how your pinky plays every note at the 12th fret and your middle finger plays every note at the 10th fret. This is why we're doing this. It's economy of motion. A lot of players want to do it like this. First finger, third finger, fourth finger, first, third, fourth, first, second pinky, first, second pinky, first, third. That's all over the place. There's no way to get fast at a scale or be accurate with your playing if you're using different fingers all the time. So the notes there, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Going on to the B string, we're going to have our middle finger playing the note A. That's at the 10th fret. We're going to have our pinky playing the note B. So now we start over again. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Finally, we have the high E string. We've already played the low E string, C, D, E, so the exact same frets, 8, 10, 12 are going to give us C, D, E on top. Same tuning of the string, so it gives us the same pitches. So now we have every note from the 8th to the 12th fret on our guitar in the key of C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. So those are all the notes of the C major scale that we can grab right there. Make sure that you can play it backwards. You can even try playing it in thirds. That means C to E, D to F, E to G, F to A, G to B, A to C. That would sound like this going all the way up. And that's another way that you can kind of practice your scales. Make sure that you can do different combinations of notes so that you're not just playing straight up and down the scale. A lot of students are going to ask questions like, well, when I solo, it just kind of sounds like I'm playing up and down a scale. And my response is usually, well, are you just playing up and down the scale? Well, yeah. Well, Doc, it hurts when I do this, right? It's one of those things where you have to start developing vocabulary. Learning the scale is simply just like learning the alphabet. You can't write a beautiful poem or a novel just A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? So you can't just think about starting on C every time and have it work out. One of the most famous melodies of all time is going to be our G, A, C. So those types of ideas are going to be really good to try out. Maybe not using the C as your first note. But I do want you to practice playing along with a backing track. You can just look up a C major backing track on YouTube and go and work out the scale over that. We're going to talk about practicing with a metronome next. All right, so I have my metronome set to 60 beats per minute, and we're going to do this in eighth notes. So let's just see how this sounds. 2, 3, 4. So that is going to be with eighth notes. What I'm going to recommend doing is twice with eighths, twice with triplets, and twice with 16th notes. So what is a triplet? Well, a triplet is going to be 3 notes per click. So it's going to sound like this. Triplet, 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 triplet. Because you're playing more notes over each beat, it does feel faster. So it's going to require more accurate picking to be able to play at this triplet feel. 1, 2, 3, 4. Triplet, 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 triplet. Lastly, I'm going to suggest that you try, or at least attempt, to play 16th notes. Now, 16th notes are going to be the subdivision of 4 notes per click. And it's going to sound like this. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... Eighth notes is 2 notes per click. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Triplets is 3 notes per click. Triplet, 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 triplet. You can also say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Next is 16th notes. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... So let's see how it sounds with 16th notes on the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you're selecting a tempo to practice your scales at, you have to select a tempo that you can play comfortably your highest subdivision, meaning the 16th notes at this time. So I've had students come back and like, yeah, I can play my scales at 100 beats per minute, and then they go ahead and show me 8th notes at 100 beats per minute. Well, I can tell you 16th notes at 100 beats per minute is quite a bit faster. And usually those people end up going down to 50 beats per minute because if the fastest they could play an 8th note is 100 beats per minute, the fastest they could play a 16th note is going to be 50 beats per minute. Hopefully that makes sense. So make sure that you start off somewhere between 40 and 60 with the metronome setting so that you're able to play this comfortably. If you get too much tension buildup, you could be at risk for an RSI, which is a repetitive stress injury or strain injury. So these things are really important to do. So make sure that you're able to play loosely. You're using your alternate picking, of course, when we're using these patterns with the scale. One thing I will say about alternate picking at this time is going to be a discussion of economy picking. So I'm always going to be going to the next string with the pick in that direction, meaning instead of going down, up against the next string, I've already set the pick in motion towards the A string. So picking the pick up and coming back around the other end of the string, it's not going to be a really good use of energy. In fact, it can cause a lot of tension. So I'm going to go down, up, down, down to the next string. Up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. Now, when I go the reverse, it's going to be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, some of you are probably furiously writing this down. Wait, down, up, down, down. Like, you don't have to memorize it like that. All you need to know is if I'm playing on the high E string and I'm going to the B string, it's always an up. If I'm on the B string and I'm going to the G string, it's always an up because it's always up in that direction. This is how economy picking works. If I'm on the low E string and I'm going to the A string, it's always to a down. If I'm on the A string going to the D string, it's always a down. So you're always going in the direction of the next string. So what I want you to do this week is you're going to take this first position of the C major scale and you're going to attempt to play it with eighth notes, triplets, and sixteenths. So let's do this together at 60 beats per minute. 3, 4. Now for triplets, 2, 3, 4. Now sixteenths. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that is how I want you to practice your first pattern of the major scale. Now, if we want to take this pattern and move it to the other 11 keys, what we would do is just cycle for it, just like anything else. Now that you have the pattern kind of memorized in your head, go to F, and you can play the exact same fingering, and it's going to give you the notes of the F major scale. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. Going to B flat major next, same exact pattern here, starting at B flat, it's going to give me the notes B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A. Moving to E flat major, that would be at the 11th fret, playing the exact same pattern is going to give me E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. Moving to A flat major at the 4th fret, I'm going to get A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, and G. This is going to give me my A flat major scale in that location. D flat major would be at the 9th fret, because that's where D flat is. So D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C. Moving to F sharp, that would be here at the 2nd fret, of course. F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp. Moving to B major, that would be at the 7th fret. And so this is going to give me the B major scale in that location. The opening track that I played, that improvisation, was in B major. So that's B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. Moving to E major, we could play that open if we wanted to. Or we could play that at the 12th fret. In either case, we're getting E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp. Moving to A major, that'd be here at the 5th fret. That's going to give me all the notes of A major, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp. Then we're going to go to D major, which is at the 10th fret. That's going to give me the notes D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp. And finally, starting at the 3rd fret, this is going to give me the notes of the G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. So you can see here, by just using one pattern, you already have access to all 12 keys. So you have all of the notes of almost any melody that you've ever heard already under your fingers. So I want you to do 2 things this week that are brand new. Number 1, get used to playing that on the C major scale using 8ths, triplets, and 16ths. Number 2, I want you to start moving this around the neck. Try to get to the other 11 keys. If that seems a little difficult this week, we'll talk about it throughout the rest of the course, but I really think you should start working on that as quickly as you can. It doesn't feel much different to the hand, even though the frets are even, closer together up here versus further apart down here. The pattern is the same. So if we know the pattern, then we can get the notes of the scale. I also want you to be paying attention for the next couple of weeks to all of the triad lessons that we've been talking about, because those triads are actually going to be inside of our major scales. So for example, that pattern that we just learned today, I have a C major triad right there, and one there, and one there. I have a D minor triad right there. I have an E minor triad right there. I have an F major triad right there. I have a G major triad right there. I have an A minor triad right there. And at the top right-hand corner of my pattern, I have a B diminished triad. It should make sense that if all of the triads that we learned in the key of C, C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, if all of those triads are from the key of C, C, E, G, D, F, A, E, G, B, and then we have F, A, C, G, B, D, A, C, E, B, D, F. I didn't say any sharps or flats, so all of those triads are inside of this pattern. So this is how the neck gets memorized eventually. As you're learning your scales, triads, and arpeggios, your chords, drop twos, and all these things we're going to get to, they're inside of the pattern. And so it reinforces the pattern. It's not just a scale. When I look down at that pattern, I'm seeing C major and all of its triads and all of its arpeggios. Everything is right there in front of me. If I want a B7, if I want a D minor 7, if I want an A minor, all those structures are right there inside of the pattern. We will get there. Don't be overwhelmed. Just focus on this one pattern for this week. Also, I want you guys to be working through your modern method. It's an awful lot this week to be adding in some new modern method on top of what we're already doing. So next week, we will be moving on in that book as well. Okay? Well, I hope you guys have a great week. If you have any questions about today's lesson, go ahead and put those in the comments below, or you can reach out to me over on Patreon. So I hope you have a great week of practice, and I will see you next week for week number 32. Peace.